Dear students, let us start the discussion on 10th March 2016 newspaper. The first one is the communalism in India. So Muzaffarnagar violence, a committee was established on this, that is Justice Vishnu Sahai Commission. It has majorly blamed the negligence of local administration, intelligence agencies and fast spread of message using the social and print media. So these cited as the major reasons for the violence. In these circumstances, let us understand some more points related to the communalism in India. So previously, communalism majorly was an assertiveness of the majoritarianism. But today, the communalism is also increasing on the other fronts. So a small spark or elusive justice, they are also signifying the communalism. So the next article covers this much better. So that is a tale of two communalisms. Now majoritarian communalism and minority communalism, both of them are bad. But however, both cannot be treated as equal. The reason is the minority communalism flows from insecurity. Majority communalism flows from assertiveness. So Jawaharlal Nehru has clearly stated this. The minority communalism can never access to the state power, and majority communalism, yes, it can access to the state power, and its assertiveness can closely lead the nation to the fascism. So in these circumstances, treating them equally is dangerous. And the second trend which is developing in India is this. Prime Minister Nehru, what he said is, the majoritarian nationalism, which is, or else the majoritarian communalism that masks itself as nationalism is the major threat to the nation. So similarly, this article also argues that today the Hindu communalism is more itself reflecting as the nationalism. So this can pose threat to the unity of this country. And coming to the Quadrata, US, Japan, India, Australia Quadrata. So generally this quadrilateral relationship is seen as against to the Beijing. But however, more than the defense and strategic perspective, it has energy perspective to it. Now if you observe, India for its energy needs is mostly dependent on the West Asia, which is very volatile. So in this case, the Australia has the highest uranium reserves, and added to that, it also has LNG reserves. So India can develop energy relationship with Australia, and on the other hand, with US and Japan, they have the nuclear technology, and India can use this to make itself energy secure. So we have to see beyond the strategic perspective of this relationship to explore the other opportunities. The dope test. Now we know that there is a performance enhancers which the athletes take and sports persons take to improve their performance in the matches. So in this case, Maria Sharapova, the 5 times Grand Slam winner, she was caught in the dope test for taking meldonium. This meldonium is available only in Russia and in some Eastern European countries. So Miss Maria Sharapova, living in United States, how she got this drug is of question. And added to that, this is newly added drug. What it does is, it enhances the flow of the blood to various organs of the body. So as like erythropoietin that produces more red blood cells, as like blood infusion, it also increases the performance of the sports person. So in these circumstances, World Anti-Doping Agency in its 2013 report placed India as the third largest doped country in sports. The first being Russia, the second being Turkey, and third is India. So India also has to raise its competence to find or to fight the doping. Next is, good economics is also good politics. It is an analysis of the budget. If you carefully observe that, the fiscal prudence is maintained in the budget, and at the same time without compromise on the expenditure. How was this made possible? So this is based on certain presumptions. One is the oil prices are very low, and finance minister assumed that they will continue to be low. So because of this, windfall profits are expected to come to the government as the fall in prices is not transferred as a benefit to the citizens. Next, the revenue from personal income tax is also expected to increase because of new technology-based solutions to improve the tax compliance. Disinvestment targets now they are being pegged around 55,000 plus crores. But if you see the last year's target, there is a little chance we can reach this disinvestment target. Now, government is also relying heavily on non-budgetary resources. You know that the public-private partnerships, market borrowings, national infrastructure investment fund, all these the government is trying to improve its presence. Next is, with regard to the farms, the government has focused on irrigation, road development and MG Narega. These can improve the demand on the rural side. Again, on the other side, you have the finance minister promising us the total rural income or agricultural income will be doubled in the next 5 years. It appears highly inappropriate because it has to assure at least 14% of growth, 14 to 18% of growth in the next 5 years, which is going to be very difficult to achieve. And by and large, the tax structure is mostly stable this year. So, these are the various things with regard to the analysis of the budget. Coming to the sharp drop in SAARC nations, India is talking about neighborhood first policy, but if we carefully observe that, there is a sharp drop in the aid which has been given to the various neighboring nations. Other than Myanmar, though which is not part of this neighboring countries, India has decreased aid to all these countries. One of the reasons is many of the projects which are started in 2005, they slowly stopped or their expenditure has decreased. And the second thing is India is also changing its accounting structure and it is shifting more towards the long-term loans which are at concessional interest rates rather than providing them the grants. It also provides the flexibility to the other countries to use the funds to their choice. So this has made India to decrease its funds to the neighboring SAARC nations. But with regard to Myanmar, we are taking forward the trilateral national highway and also Kaladan multimodal project. It has raised the funds to the Myanmar. And next, India, if it has to maintain its global leadership, what it has to do. If you observe, when Mr. Tharoor, he has contested for UN General Secretary position, and as of now we are seeking UN Security Council seat. Relatively, the support which we are getting in the international world and especially our neighboring countries is very less. Why such a situation? So what our people are expecting, if you observe carefully, India shall do few things first. First, it has to create the prosperity in the region. And the neighboring countries, they expect that India, China shall not compete, they shall cooperate. So, and development of the connectivity. So, there has to be a positive symmetry between the India and China. Hamid Karzai has clearly stated that. And on the other hand, the United States presence is increasing in South China Sea. And India has to fine balance this USA-China relationship. So, this provides the greater legitimacy for our actions in South Asia. And coming to Sagarmala project, so under the infrastructure, it is going to improve the India's logistical connectivity. Because of that, as of now, 18% of the expenditure is happening over this. So this is making the Indian exports uncompetitive. It is bound to make them competitive now. And also, Indian ships are outdated. The shipyards need to be renovated, and the government is allocating around 1 lakh crore rupees towards this particular issue. And the next is, India has 0.9% of the share in the deadweight tonnage. So these things need to be improved. And the next is, opposition, it has given an amendment to the presidential speech. Now, if you carefully observe, this is the second time in the present government is facing an amendment to the president's speech. In the history, it has happened only for 5 times. This amendment is majorly for the panchayat qualifications to the members representatives to contest in the Panchayat elections in Haryana and Rajasthan. The major issue here, Panchayat is in the state list. Can Union Parliament suggest an amendment to that particular thing, or can Union Parliament raise the particular thing which is there in the state list? That is what is the question posed by the government. So these are the issues for discussion today. Thank you very much. All the best.